Hey everybody, I want to tell you about this app called Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast and it's free. They have so many creation tools so that you can record and you can edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast to so many platforms. And you don't need a minimum listenership to start making some money with the sponsorship. So go download Anchor right now, because I know you got some special stuff to talk about. Period. Welcome everybody back to the Black Queer Witch podcast. I hope you guys are doing amazing today. Today's been really nice for me, actually. I finally did my official launch of my podcast. I'm just so excited for this new journey in my life. I'm just so impressed with myself and I'm dope. Let's dive into it. I'm just dope. And I feel like I'm just happy. That's it. Okay, so let's dive into the episode. Y'all. So today's episode will be about some things that I think you should think about when starting your spiritual journey. These are some things that I thought about when I first began. These are also some things that I always tell people when they ask me where I should start, because I think a lot of people dive straight into shadow work, and it's not necessarily where you should start. Because that can be just a little intense. I feel like you should start off a little easier to make sure this is a path that you want to go down before you start to go down. But yeah, let's dive into it. I'm gonna tell you some things I feel like you should know. The first thing I feel like you should do when you're starting your spiritual journey is learning more about yourself. I feel like a lot of us don't necessarily know who we are, especially outside the boundaries of religion. You know, we've been in these religious communities and these religious settings that tell us who we should be and how we should be, that we actually don't know who we are outside of those boundaries that have been placed upon us and that we place upon ourselves. So I feel like that's the best place to start right there, is with yourself and learning who you are. Like, what do you believe in? What do you feel is right? Do you feel like you're a witch? Do you feel like you're a root worker? Do you feel like something else? Do you just feel spiritual? You know, because just because you're on a spiritual path does not necessarily mean that you're diving into witchcraft or the occult. Like, what do you believe in? What sparks your interest? You know, like that's where you should start. Most definitely is with yourself, because whatever you put out there, it magnifies. You know, not magnifies. That's not the word. It echoes basically. So I feel like you should really pay attention to what you're putting out there and who you are, what energies you're putting out there, because they always come back to you, regardless of if you believe in this stuff or not. The second thing is you should do some family history. I feel like family history is very important. You sit down and talk to your elders and see, and learn about your ancestors and who they were before they died. You know, take some time, go get like an old family photo album and just kind of flip through it with your one of your ancestors, one of your elders, to see if they know this person and what they can tell you about that person. And I also feel like you should go and get like a DNA test. I necessarily haven't gotten a DNA test, but I do plan on getting one this Christmas season. I do feel like you should get a DNA test to kind of figure out where you come from in the world. Especially in America, a lot of us are this huge melting pot that we come in contact with so many different cultures on a daily basis, which is kind of a good thing, but sometimes it can be a bad thing if you're not keeping up with where you come from. So I do feel like you should get like a DNA test, and you should take some time out and study about the people that you come from and the history that you hail from, because unlocking that is like it's a way of unlocking your ancestors deeper down in your roots, and that's a way of unlocking more power, more magic, giving you access to more spirits that you necessarily didn't know that you had access to. Because I always tell people that just because um, just because you can do it don't mean it's for you. Period. Like I'm an eclectic witch. Yes, I take whatever practices I feel is comfortable for me and my practice, but I know the difference between what is an open religion, what is a closed religion, or what is an open spiritual practice and what is a closed one. Because closed spiritual practices are not for everybody. Those are just for that certain ethnic group or that certain type of person or certain type of people. Like you don't have access to every spirit or every god or every ritual just because you think you can practice it or just because somebody shared that with you. Okay. And then another thing I feel like people should learn is about divine masculine and divine feminine energy, because we're made up of both, right? We have a mother and a father. Um, it's always a balance between light and dark. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this all you need to learn about that. You need to know what is actually masculine energy and what is actually feminine energy, and kind of connect with both of them. I think people get so caught up on these physical bodies and their physical manifestations that they don't realize that we're made up of both energies. And it's okay to be both. It's okay to be a god and a goddess at the same time. It's okay to be a king and a queen at the same time. It's okay to be a man and a woman at the same time. And to embody both of those energies at one time. It's okay. And the more you get and connected with those divine energies, the more balanced you become, the more confident and sure of yourself that you become. And I feel like that is super, super important when doing anything, especially when it comes to like magic work. Everything has to have a balance. There cannot be an off balance of things, um, because then things will go out of whack. They'll spiral out of control. So I feel like that's always important. Always. I feel like that's super important. And another thing, I feel like people need to learn how to protect themselves spiritually. I believe well, I don't believe I've seen a lot of people dive straight into some stuff and not necessarily know how to protect themselves or how to do anything when it comes to defending themselves or fighting back against somebody or a spirit. I've seen a lot of people just jump into trying to hit somebody, um, and that's not always good when you don't know what a hex is or how to hex somebody or the different types of hexes. You don't know what a curse is or a jinx is. And trust me, I'm a full believer of hexing people when it's necessary, like against a murderer or somebody who's a rapist or something like that. I definitely feel like you should hex the fuck out of them, bitch, and make their life fucking miserable. Okay. But I feel like you also need to know how to protect yourself, because some people have certain spirits on them. Some people have certain gods on them that protect them, even for a murderer or a rapist. They may have a certain spirit on them that will protect them or show them, hey, somebody's trying to do you harm. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be aware of that and know how to protect yourself in your home. Because a lot of people out here just doing hexes and they keeping all these hexes in their home, and they wondering why their life is out of whack. It's because you don't know how to protect yourself. You don't know what you're doing when you're casting. You need to sit down and learn. You need to sit down and learn, really learn, and learn these different protection symbols and how they're used and where they come from. I feel like that is super important. And then another thing is learning. Just learning. Take some time to do some studying. I think that's what a lot of people don't do. They just jump straight into some stuff, and they ain't did no they ain't did no learning, like basic stuff. Like I'm in a lot of witches groups on Facebook And I see a lot of people who ask basic witchcraft questions. Oh, which day is it good to do this? That's something that you should already have sat down and learned when you started doing your journey. Is learning those basic things about colors and about the days of the week, and learning a little bit about the moon cycles. Like, you got to sit down and do something for yourself. It's not everything is not going to be handed to you. The spiritual journey, the spiritual path is not easy for a lot of people because they're used to things being handed to them, and they're used to things coming quickly on their time, and that's not how spirituality works. You have to do something for yourself. You got to put in some work. If you want something to grow, you gotta put the work in. You gotta pull the weeds out. You gotta water the plants. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's super important is the learning, and taking the time to learn and actually figure some stuff out. Taking some time in meditation. That's another thing that's important too. Is meditation and grounding. Um, and meditation is I can say it's a little difficult for new people because especially when you're used to your mind just going and going and going and going at all times. Um, but there is a lot of amazing people who do podcasts for guided meditations. There's a lot of amazing people who do YouTube videos for guided meditations. But grounding yourself and putting yourself in only this moment, not the past or the future, only in the present, is so important. It's so important. That's when you start to really realize the things that are around you. Is when you ground yourself in that moment, in this moment, and not any other moment. So I feel like you should really ground yourself. That's important work. Super important work. Um, yeah, that's it. Those are the things I feel like you should start with when it comes to starting your spiritual path. You shouldn't start anywhere else. You should start right there, and then you should learn from there. Once you see topics that are more of your interest, definitely. So, thank you for tuning into the podcast today. Period. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support and all the freaking love that you guys give me. I really appreciate you guys so much. I really hope this helps you. I really hope this helps you grow and become somebody better than who you are. And I hope it helps you start your journey, period. So I will see you guys to the love.